All right. All right. Welcome back, fellow TFFL owners, to your TFFL webcast. It is Wednesday. We're into December 5th, 2018. We have the 2018 TFFL regular season in the books. We're going to be looking back at the season as a whole, but entering a new season now, the playoffs. 6 teams in, 6 teams out. 5 of those teams are represented here tonight on the panel.
We should have invited Bill.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
We should have added Bill.
Nice cash bowl webcast.
I'm gonna you know what? Bill may be watching, so I'm gonna invite him right now.
All right.
And no. Hey, let's not be rash.
Expert analysis across the panel here. So yeah, let me introduce the panel, then we'll get started. Terry, our commissioner, having just wrapped up his first regular season as commissioner.
Yep. Hello, everyone.
Managing director of the Steel City Mongols, last team really to miss out on the playoffs. Aliens did not come through for you. The Mongols didn't come through for you.
Right.
Sorry, Terry. I'm there with you.
We were rooting for you, Terry.
Yep. We tried.
I kept the faith till about 5 minutes left in that game, and then you had to give it up.
Yeah.
I had to set my text messaging to do not disturb that night.
Mm-hmm.
I was getting blown up by the panel.
Chief, our former commissioner, skipper of the Fun Fishermen, glad to have you.
Well, as will be a common refrain, I am also right there with you, Terry.
Yes.
Hank, czar and CEO of the K-Wheels, our IT director.
Good evening. Smooth night on the IT front, but I think the entire panel is a little disheveled this evening. This could be an interesting exercise we're doing here.
We're all a little checked out, perhaps. And Berto, Jack, I forget what title we came up with last.
High command. Come on.
What's
High
that?
command.
High command.
High command.
Of Jack's Giant Killers. Welcome.
I resemble that.
Yes.
I do too, Berto. I'm right there with you.
There we go.
Again, none of us in the playoffs, but we'll talk about all the other teams that matter this week.
Hey, by the way, Stick, just I think we missed the intros last webcast somehow. I don't know if we've ever done that before, but
that actually hit me as I was scribbling down my very limited agenda here. That I felt like I'd missed that maybe more than once recently. Need to make sure everybody knows who's who.
Right.
So the headlines are somewhat obvious, but it's worth acknowledging once again the Boba Fats. Their unbeaten streak continues. I believe we are at 25 games now, spanning 2 seasons, heading into a second playoff run with that streak still intact. An undefeated 2018. 12-0-1. The Fats are at least leaving open the possibility that some team in the future can be slightly better at 13-0. But congratulations on that.
If I may, Stick, I think I've been wrong all year. I looked at the schedule today and last season. Fats was 11-2 last year, and I know he started 0-2. 11 games, 2 playoff wins. 13 and the regular season he's at 26 games unbeaten.
Good God, man, that's insane.
Yes.
I don't think I've won 26 games in 4 years.
Yeah.
I'm gonna see if I can fact check this on the Boba Fats.
I don't think that's correct.
No, they lost weeks 3 and 4 last year.
Okay.
1-2, then lost 2.
1-2, then lost 2.
So they won their final 9 in the regular season. 2 in the playoffs is 11. Actually, this would put them
24.
24. You were 1 off in the other direction.
In the other direction.
All right. Nonetheless, quite incredible. We've talked about it a lot this year. They'll get a bye, of course, to start the playoffs. So they'll get a chance to extend that by 2 more games and claim a second consecutive Pac Bowl title. Other news coming out of Week 13, we mentioned it already. The Dirt Devils We talked about the Mongols not making it. It's the Dirt Devils who are in. at 7-6, division title winners. I'm going to bring them up as a franchise we'll focus on later in the roundtable chat. Devils are a fascinating team to look at. The Hams, they were already in the playoffs, but they clinched the division. They clinched the conference title. Senators get the wild card spot coming out of that season-long division battle. Hams once again, really taking off after being on the webcast. I'm not sure they lost down the stretch after being on the webcast. There may be other injuries. I didn't do a thorough look, but the injuries we need to talk about are to the Boba Fett's wide receivers. These are big blows. A.J. Green out for the season. Emmanuel Sanders out for the season. Again, I think we still have a right to be worried about his Rams perhaps missing some action maybe in Week 16 or even Week 15. But he suddenly has lost, his 2 top receivers. Am I trying to nitpick, or have the Fats been weakened suddenly and severely heading into the playoffs? There's your first roundtable chat question right away. Tell me what you think.
Huge blow.
Yeah, huge blow. I'm looking at his roster. He's
got a bunch of injuries.
He's probably looking at starting Danny Amendola or Pierre Garçon, and that's tough.
Yeah, along already with Dede Westbrook.
Correct. Yeah.
This is not a good crop of receivers. I mean, you look at they got them matched up with the Hams against the Fats this week. And the Hams are favored according to com.com. I think the Hams should be favored.
Yeah.
I mean, you just scroll down the Fats roster here, and there's red next to
red.
I mean, it's just a bloodbath.
He does not have one healthy receiver on the bench.
Losing Cup and then A.J. Green and Sanders on top of that. He can't play Ebron, and Ebron's doing great. He's just, wasting away on the bench.
Right.
And then the Lynch IR. I mean, it's but he's 126 or 25 or whatever we said the number.
Whatever it is.
So it's tough to debate it.
And that's not the worst of it. The worst of it remains, as Stick said, when the Rams sit down, Jared Goff, he's tied to Marcus Mariota for what might be the semifinals or the finals. I mean, and that's a killer. That's a crushing, development with Andy Dalton going off on IR.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But it's not time to start doubting him now.
Sure it is. We debated earlier in the season whether the Fats had good depth or not. I think Chief in particular was the one concerned about their depth. And again, all of a sudden, some big blows here. Andy Dalton, A.J. Green, Emmanuel Sanders. Berto brought up Cooper Kupp before that. And again, Ebron is a guy that's really kind of useless. So there's a lot of spots on the Fats roster that are not going to be able to contribute much in the playoffs here. He does get the bye in Week 14. In theory, some of these guys maybe get a little healthy, but A.J. Green's not coming back. Emmanuel Sanders is not coming back. Cooper Kupp is not coming back. That receiver core is going to be thin in the playoffs. Hey, let me give you your TFL trivia question. TFFL trivia before we get too deep into this. Again, I was scrambling a little bit. This may be an easy one, but let's see if I can make it 2 parts and give you some easy points. Among our 6 TFFL playoff teams in 2018, which of them has the longest packed bowl drought? Let's give you just 2 points for that correct answer if you can get it. I'll give you 3 more points if you can nail the exact year that team last won their packed bowl title.
So you're looking for a team and a year.
Team and a year. 2 points for the former, 3 points for the latter. Okay, write it down. We'll give you the answer later in the show, as always. Hank, one more time, whether you got handouts or not,
Ready.
let's wrap it up. How did the 2018 TFFL regular season standings end?
I bring you the final 2018 regular season standings as we have them. So we have our division champions, the NoCo West Boba Fats 12-0-1, the NoCo East Amsterdam Packers 7-5-1, the SoCo East Hams 9-3-1, and the SoCo West Devils at 7-6. The seeding on the far left side, not in order. As stated, the Fats and Hams get a bye this week. Lizards and Senators get the wild card spots, and they both deserve it. I know Stick is bummed today that he's not in there. I know Terry, you're bummed that you're not in there, but they're both good teams that have played pretty well this year. Then we get to the bottom. This is where we are. The Beavers are 1, the Fish are 2, Killers 3, Wheels 4, Aliens 5, Mongols 6. Stick, tell me if I'm wrong on the 5-6 order. I think that's correct.
Yeah, that's correct. I think I looked at it. It's identical winning percentages, and I beat the Aliens.
Right. So that is your draft order. This will begin to get longer as teams are eliminated. But right now, the teams above here are playing for this year. These guys are not. We're all on this list.
Again, we said this last week, but we'll just confirm it. Beavers with the number 1 overall pick. Bill, our college draft expert, will relish having that. Hank, you might want to hold that back up. I have an important question, and Terry, you might want to dig into the rule book here. Do we award home field advantage points in a case where the higher seeded team doesn't necessarily have a better record? Was that a stipulation of getting the home field advantage points?
No.
You did not have to have a better record.
There was no stipulation about it.
I feel like we had that at one point, maybe.
No, I don't think so. I don't
think so either. I think you're making that up.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not in the rules right now.
Because interestingly, in both cases, the higher seeded team does not have a better record.
That's actually pretty common.
So
yeah, we oftentimes have a 7-6 division winner playing an 8-5 wild card.
Wild card.
So who's that? Amsterdam Packers and
the Devils.
And the Devils getting 3 points this week.
Sorry, yes. The Packers and the Devils get 3 points. The Senators play the Pack. The Lizards play the Devils.
Terry, you already put out a call for playoff teams need to submit a reserve lineup, of course. Any other reminders? Let me shift over to our commissioner's report. News, notes, reminders, update.
No, I mean, it's playoff time. The only 2 games that really matter are the playoff games. There's matchups out there for everybody. I guess we're playing some rotisserie style cash bowl this year. But, yeah, send your reserve lineups to me. Send them to my my Yahoo account. I don't look at the TFFL commissioner email that often, so send them directly to me. And to the playoff teams, good luck this week.
And the other thing too, playoff teams can still do
FA
if they have them.
Yes, if they have them. I've already received a couple, but any of these guys, are not protectable. Which sounds odd to say. You wouldn't think there'd be any guys like that out there now, but they're not protectable.
Okay, let's shift into our roundtable chat. The agenda is pretty straightforward. We know what the big topics are this week. Let me reiterate a question we've brought up twice before. I don't think there's any avoiding it as we head into the playoffs once again. Tell me who your Pac Bowl favorite is. Things may have changed with all these injuries to the Fats, with the run that the Hams are on, the bye that they've got. Maybe you like one of the other, the Ham Pack have been surging. Tell me who you like. One team.
Hams.
I like the Hams too. Hams.
I'm going to cop out a little bit, and I'm going to say that the the winner has the last name Giovenco.
Okay. That's reasonable.
Yeah.
I mean, let's not disrespect the Fats. Let's not. But their receiving core is decimated.
It's, without all these injuries, they would definitely be the favorite, but they're getting hit with them at the wrong time.
Yeah, I don't know. I was about to go off the board and go Lizards from the number 5 seed, but I think they're struggling a little bit too with some injuries and some guys who aren't performing. As I said last week, the Giovencos made the moves. I think they are trending in the right direction right now.
Yeah.
But listen, every week somebody stepped up for the Boba Fats, right? Tariq Cohen and Kaimi Fairbairn last week. Someone the previous Eric Ebron, right? The previous week. It seems like this is a team of destiny. So I'm gonna roll the Fats. They got one fewer game than the others. Let's go with the best team in the TFFL for the season.
And I've been on the Hams all along. I'm not going to jump off the bandwagon now. I think, as Chief said, they've been making the right moves. They've been staying healthy. And my key factor all along has been Mahomes at the top of the lineup. They're going to need to throw even more if that's possible. We'll talk about the Kareem Hunt news in just a moment, but I think Mahomes is the driving force there. The Hams are my pick.
That's where I was addressing this too.
Terry, did we get a pick from you?
What's that?
You picked a Giovenco?
I picked a Giovenco. If you force me to choose between them, I've got to go with Mahomes as well, and say the Hams.
So we're all on the Hams.
There it is. What do we know? All right, I just mentioned Kareem Hunt. That's my next topic. I think we have to bring this up. It was stunning news this week. It does affect the Lizards probably a great deal as they head into the playoffs. Released by the Chiefs. The Lizards do have Spencer Ware backing him up, but that's not going to replace all the points that Hunt put into the lineup every week. I don't know that I have a question here. I just, obviously I was stunned at how quickly that moved from, there's a videotape. He's been sent home from the building. He's on the exempt list. He's been released. And even Kareem Hunt acknowledged right move by the Chiefs. Just stunning how quick that happened. Stunning how bad the Redskins look in comparison by having picked up Reuben Foster. And I guess if I have a question here, it's how long of a suspension do you think he's going to have? Does that start immediately? How many games would that carry into 2019? I've got some thoughts on that, but tell me what you guys think.
So aren't they investigating? So there's a couple other incidents, right?
I think that 2 or 3 more incidents.
Yeah, so this could be, who knows? This could be a year type suspension. So that wouldn't surprise me if something else comes out on one of these other incidents. And so who knows? But at least 6 games, and then maybe up from that.
Yeah, and listen, the suspension doesn't start now, right? Because he's on the commissioner exempt list. He's getting paid now while they're investigating. So suspension will start when the investigation's over, probably sometime during the off season. Suspension will go into effect. It's going to be more than 6 games. It's probably going to be neighborhood of 10 or 12 for a season. But here's the thing. I don't think it matters. Because what team wants to sign him? What team wants to take that PR hit? What team wants to have now or whoever protesting outside the stadium, every Sunday? We talked how running back is kind of a fungible position. And yes, Kareem Hunt is special. He's not just a baseline running back. He's a good one. Is he that much better than and a above average guy that you want to deal with that. I think it's a non-zero chance that he's played his last snap. I'm going to say, if I had to call it, I think he'll probably be back opening day 2020.
With the New England Patriots.
No, not a chance.
I think it will be something like that. The guy is a talent, and I think there will. I mean, they brought in Corey Dillon later. I mean, there's definitely a team out there that will give him a chance. The NFL is full of that.
Yeah, the Patriots brought in Josh Gordon too, but now we're talking about drug abusers to domestic abusers, and this is just not going to happen in New England. Not with Bob Kraft.
We'll see. I'm not convinced of that. I don't think the Patriots, I think, draw the line at winning.
Why doesn't it happen in Washington, though? You know, that they just picked up Reuben Foster, who's not that exceptional of a talent either. Somebody's going to pick him up.
I'm not convinced they knew what happened with Reuben Foster. Just saw him on the waiver wire and say, "Hey, we had him on our draft board. Let's sign him."
Idiot.
No. I mean, let's see what's going to happen with the suspension. But I think these other incidents are going to be the tipping point, and if they turn out to be nothing, which obviously that is unlikely, I think. But if they don't turn out to be anything or whatever, then that is a different circumstance than multiple incidents. So TBD. But I think she's right. I would probably say opening day 2020.
Can I ask a question? Because I generally do not know. Did TMZ release? Did they release this footage? Was it on TV?
Yes, TMZ.
It's out.
We've all seen it.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Okay, I have not. But okay, so it's there and it's available to view if you choose to.
If you choose to, yeah.
Type it into the Google machine. You too will see it. He's doing it right now. I can see it. That's why he went on mute.
So
I'm not just because I don't care to.
I
Ray Rice thing, but
the other issue here, of course, is that Kareem Hunt lied to the Chiefs about these incidents. Has obviously been proven to be a liar to them. Might have also lied to NFL investigators at some point. Might not matter. The Chiefs are part of the NFL, and I think the NFL could very easily make that a year-long suspension in 2019. Regardless of these other incidents, just by virtue of him impeding the investigation. I think it's at least a year, opening day 2020 at the very best for him. But I think somebody will sign him. He's Ray Rice was older. I think as long as this is not like a 2-year suspension, and even then, I still think somebody like the Redskins would sign him.
Yeah, I think he's looking at a season, if I had to handicap it right now. And then, whether he gets signed again, that's interesting because you're right. This is the litmus test. Ray Rice, you could rationalize it. He was older, showed signs of decline. Hunt's at the top of his game.
Good point.
So I think it'll be interesting to see which way it goes. But I think I lean with you guys that someone will take a flyer on him.
Was Ray Rice 30 when that happened as a running back, or 29?
I think he was late 20s, right? 29-ish. Yeah.
Yeah. So that is a really great point, Terry. Talking about a guy who's 23 or I don't know, 24 or whatever he is, versus a guy who was at I wouldn't say the tail end, but only a couple years
probably had
peaked.
Maybe. Yeah, he had peaked.
Around the horn, we've given you a couple points on that one.
Yeah, good work.
Because Ray Rice has been declining for a season or two.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on. I said I wanted to talk about the Dirt Devils, and here's the context. Yeah, we were texting a lot with Terry there on Monday night. I think Terry wrapped things up by saying the Devils were the better team, deserved to have won, deserved to have made the playoffs. And I was so tempted right away to write back and say, that's just not true. The Devils are a terrible team. But you know what? There are so many moves up and down that Devils roster you have to give Nick credit for this year, going back a couple years. starting with Kirk Cousins and Stephon Diggs. You know, every year the fantasy football season is sort of decided by what we would call lottery picks, or guys who just deliver such incredible value and let you still get great value from the guys you used your top draft picks on. Two of the big surprise names this year happen to be Dirt Devils, happen to have come through in week 13 to make a difference in the win over the Aliens. Guys who came through all season long. Philip Lindsay, again, I had no idea who this guy was. I'm sure other owners would admit to that. 11th round, 10th round.
I had never heard of him.
He was the difference maker there in week 13. Explosive player. James Conner was another one, and I think most people, not me, but I think most people scoffed at Nick keeping James Conner. We did not know at the keeper deadline, or even have a real clue that Le'Veon Bell's holdout was going to go more than a couple games. Hank and I had been talking. Conner was a guy I liked. I thought the circumstances were there for him to be an early round draft pick, but Nick protected him. Those two guys, plus Cousins, plus Diggs,
Adrian Peterson.
I was going to say Adrian Peterson. And damn it, we all looked at that before the draft and said Nick's going to take Adrian Peterson in the second. It just made so much sense, and it did, and it's paid off for him. And all these moves have added up to the Devils being a good, not great, but a good team that once again has defied our expectations. We say it every year, what a terrible keeper list he's got, how inattentive Nick is. This is the Beavers are looking strong. The Mongols are rebuilding and coming on, and here he is again, winning record, division title. I don't know if I have a question.
Nick is a genius. Nick is a flat-out genius of great magnitude that none of us will fully appreciate for many, many years. And it may be our children who finally understand that Nick was the brains of the entire operation, always.
Well, that explains it.
That's
There
it.
we go.
Now, the Philip Lindsay thing real quick. I think he honestly took Philip Lindsay as a flyer on a name that he saw on some running back depth chart. Because Royce Freeman was the rookie there, and Devontae Booker was the other guy there.
Was the backup.
I had heard of Philip Lindsay. I'm surprised you guys hadn't.
I'd heard of him, but he was not – I was not going to draft him.
On depth charts, he was a number 3 guy. And, but so –
I told you guys earlier, I have a theory. I think Nick, by virtue of his sleeping and eating habits, finds himself snoozing on the sofa late at night on Saturday night during August, picking up a lot of NFL preseason games by osmosis. I think he knew Philip Lindsay. I don't think that was just a random sticker. No. I think he had seen him and knew he wanted to draft him at some point.
Nick is a Colorado fan for whatever reason. His college football team is in Colorado.
Always has been. You're right. He is.
And he knew who he was. Yeah. But and yes, we talked about his keeper decisions with Connor, who I actually tried to trade with Nick for, because I thought at least he'd be a good starting running back next year in 2019, and Nick wouldn't budge on that.
Right.
Let's look at this draft. Okay, Rashad Penny,
James White.
Okay.
James White's another great one.
Yeah. Right. I think he's got a good future. Right. Adrian Peterson, James White, who I really thought should have been kept. Calvin Ridley, great pick. Cortland Sutton, at least a good pick, especially after Demaryius Thomas left. Duke Johnson, okay. Tegan Jr., terrible. Derek Carr, terrible. Daniel Carlson, I think he's a kicker. Then he comes back with George Kittle and Philip Lindsay late in the draft.
Wow.
Kittle was the guy I was hoping to get late. He's listen. He tunes out during the season. He's not very responsive to text or emails or anything else. But he comes prepared draft day. He has a plan, and at least for that 1 week, he knows his shit.
That was an A draft.
It wasn't. At least an A- draft. Absolutely.
For sure.
That's really good.
The other thing too, I mean, just coming back to the present and this week, James Conner being out certainly hurts the Devils. But maybe Cortland Sutton, who's in the starting lineup right now, gets a bit elevated with Emmanuel Sanders out. So,
I mean, he's the number one receiver over there, right?
Yeah.
All right. Well, this is a good segue then. The last stop
is hurt.
You know what? I had to change the subject because I didn't feel like talking about how smart Nick was anymore.
Nick,
I was done with that.
Move on.
That's fine. And the shame of it is Nick isn't going to see this anyway and hear all this. So we'll stop saying nice things about him. But that's a good segue anyway. The last stop on our agenda is to look at the 2 playoff games this week. Make your picks. So you started us off here with the Devils and the Lizards. Again, the Devils getting 3 points. That's already on the board here. Guys, pull this game up. Tell me who you like and tell me why.
I'm surprised that I guess Berkman has benched Thielen right now against Seattle, which maybe is why.
The 3 guys he's got in his lineup have nice matchups. Michael Thomas against Tampa Bay. Evans going back against New Orleans, obviously. Beckham against a beaten up Redskins team.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to bench Beckham right now.
No.
So I like the Lizards. So 17-point favorites, but I think those wide receivers are going to come up big, and he's got Ware, which was good to have him in the lineup or have him on the roster in case something happened to Kareem Hunt. So I'm going Lizards on the strength of the wide receivers.
I too will go with the Lizards. I would not give the 17. I would probably give 10, I think. But I think the Devils are going to need like Philip Lindsay to go off, which he could against San Francisco. And Cousins and Diggs in Seattle on Monday night is tough. I never know, but Ben in Oakland and Beckham and his receiving core is really strong. I got the Lizards by 10.
Yeah, I like the Devils to cover on this one, but yeah. And let's, I don't know, we may have talked about it briefly a couple weeks ago, or it may have been the week I wasn't here. I think the Lizards made a borderline brilliant move in picking up Roethlisberger at the trade deadline, which I think is kind of underrated. Giving them an option from Cam Newton, who's been struggling. I think he saw Cam Newton struggling of late, and I think he projected to look down the line at the schedule of teams Newton was playing and foresaw maybe a little bit of difficulty. Got another guy you can start every week, and has started him, I think, more often than not since he acquired him. And I think that's going to make the difference here. The Steelers have a deadly passing attack with Brown, Smith-Schuster, McDonald, and whoever else they have on there on the fringes. The running back game. Roethlisberger is putting up some serious points, and I think he's the difference in this one.
He's playing at Oakland, so we all know that Ben on the road not as good as Ben at home. And if you look at the numbers, it does it does play out that way this year. Cam does not have under 15 points going back all the way to week 5.
But
he has 14 points in week 10. So he's been putting up some points. He doesn't have less than 2 touchdowns going all the way back to week 1.
Yeah, but last year 14 points was a good benchmark. This year it's just not cutting it.
Yeah, that's true. The last 3 so the last 3 games 15, 18, 25. So
it doesn't matter what Cam is actually doing. I think Rich made it clear all the way back in week 2 that when he started Case Keenum, in week 2. Not because of bye issues, but Rich made it clear he does not have confidence in Cam Newton. And I don't think that was going to change at any point this season. And Chief is right. I think give Rich credit then. Rich was very clear when he acquired Roethlisberger that this was not a move to back up Cam Newton, that he expected Ben to start games, and he has. So yeah, good. That's a good call, Chief. We'll give you 2 more points for that one.
Chief is racking up the points.
Yeah. So I'm gonna pick the Devils in this one. I think this one's a lot closer than you guys are imagining, and the 3 points, the home field advantage points, certainly help. I like the matchups here. Kirk Cousins and Diggs could score some points against Seattle. Phillip Lindsay running against San Francisco. The Redskins are going to have to feed Peterson the ball. They don't have anybody to throw it. So I think the Devils can certainly make a game of this, and with those 3 home field advantage points, I'm gonna make them my pick here.
That makes sense.
All right, so let's talk about the other game here, the Senators. Hold on, let me pull this up here.
Mm-hmm. Senators AMPAC.
I'm getting it here. Senators and the AMPAC, with the AMPAC getting the 3 points. We talked about red crosses. I'm seeing a lot over on the Senators side. I don't think they're all critical injuries, but again, pull this one up in front of you as well. Who do you like to move on to our Final Four?
So I hate to say it, but I like the AMPAC. It's tough to root for the AMPAC, or not that I'm rooting for him, but Brady historically I don't think plays great against New England or against Miami. You got a healthy Gronk on the bench still, which is interesting. So that'll be the 2nd week in a row. So a healthy Gronk on the bench in the playoffs is a little bit stunning.
Again, Gronk has been on his bench a lot. It hasn't just been the last couple of weeks.
Yep. So I think the AMPAC is healthy. They have probably the healthiest that they've been all year. So I'm going to go with the AMPAC.
Let me bring you back 1 year from today. Wild card round 2017. Sponge and the Senators are playing in a wild card game. The Sponge are up by 2 heading into a Monday night game. It's Brady in Miami. Brady scores 2 points in Miami, tying the game, and the Sponge advance. With the home field advantage, Sponge advance on the reserve lineup. Okay, Miami is. We talked about last year. There is a personal hell for Brady for whatever reason. It spans coordinators. It spans head coaches. Doesn't even matter what month of the year it is. He cannot play well there. I don't know why.
Yeah,
it might be in his head at this point. I'm going with the AMPAC.
Chief, you were exactly right. I remember that on the webcast last year, and then it played out. You said it before that game last year. It played out. So, yep.
2 points for Chief.
I don't get points too. I said it first.
Points for everybody.
For no one.
We're throwing them around.
I want the imaginary points too.
Yeah. I mean, I said a Giovenko would win, so I kind of forced myself into picking the Packers here. But Fournette back after his 1-game suspension. Elliott and Dallas playing great. Hill, Keenan Allen, Gordon. I like the AMPAC this week. Their lineup looks very, very strong.
Yeah, he has guys that are playing good right now.
Yeah.
I hate the Amsterdam Packers. I hate this team. I hate them, and I hope they lose. Kramer beat the AMPAC. If I had to bet money on it, I'm betting on the AMPAC.
So if the AMPAC win as the 3 seed, they would play
the Hams.
Could they play the Hams? Yeah,
the Hams.
They will play the Hams. Yes.
Get a Giovenko Pro Bowl.
There you go.
Yes.
That's what I was looking for. Good. I'm buying what you guys are selling on the Miami theory. So I'll sign up for the Amsterdam Packers here as well. Again, lots of little injuries over on the Senators side of the equation. The AMPAC roster is healthy; they're playing well. If Miami does slow down Brady, this is an AMPAC victory. All right. Let me give you a TFFL trivia answer, and we will wrap up here.
I feel good about this.
What's that?
I feel good about this one.
Okay, so I'm looking for the franchise that is in our playoffs this year with the longest packed bowl drought. The Senators is the correct answer. Terry, did you get that as well?
No, I had the Devils.
And 1999 is the year.
Yeah.
All the way back to 1999.
I thought they had won it since then.
Berto. All right. Nice work.
Great job, Berto.
He knows the archives.
Sponge 1 year off.
Yeah.
Give me the points breakdown. Who got what?
I got 5.
0.
3 and 2 was worth, Stick?
2 and 3.
Chief got 3.
Chief got 2.
2. And I get 2?
You get 2.
I'm sorry. I got 2 based on what?
Getting the Senators right.
Okay. And the year was all or nothing?
The year was 3 point. Yeah. Sorry.
Okay.
All right. Well, Berto, that's catching up some points here. Let's see.
Still way behind.
No, I'm way behind.
Way behind. All right. The standings now are Hank with 31, TR with 21, Berto with 19, Chief with 15, and the guest with 13. I'm killing you guys now.
Wow.
I'll come up with some massive point generating question for next week.
Yeah, you're gonna need. We need some big points.
Something that favors Chief next week, perhaps. I'll get to work on something dastardly for the week ahead. All right, so that's it. We don't really have a schedule and a game of the week to talk about. We just talked about our 2 games of the week.
That's it.
We do have, as Terry mentioned, some sort of rotisserie style cash bowl action going on. I guess I'll have to tinker with my lineup.
Tinker stinker.
Yep. God bless all 5 of us not in the playoffs. Not sure who I want to root for.
If I had made the playoffs, I would be so ecstatic about having Jalen Samuel on my roster this week. But it doesn't matter.
Might be Pac Bowl favorite now.
All right. Well, so hey, good luck. We got two games, 4 teams in action, 2 teams on a bye. Boba Fats will do their best to get healthy, but again, they're not getting back their stud wide receivers. So Fats and Hormel Hams, we'll see you next week. Good luck to let me see if I can recite them all here. Lizards, Amsterdam Packers, Senators, and Dirt Devils, all in action this week. Good luck, guys. We'll be watching, and we'll be back here next week to talk about it. In the meantime, best wishes and take care.
A lot of exciting TFBA action out there.
Sucks missing the playoffs. It's terrible.